Hi everyone, let's talk about On Mars, the latest monster of a game from Vital Lacerda. Another one, in the line of deluxe games from Eagle Gryphon, and it's got Ian O'Toole graphic design in it. Another absolutely beautiful presentation. If you haven't, if you're just wondering where all of the game and stuff is, I just did a massive playthrough of it. Massive. You can see all about the game in there, all of the beautiful stuff laid out, and hopefully it all makes sense. But I've said many times in the past how much I love Vital Lacerda's games. They, I can't remember exactly where they ended up in my top 10, but Kanban was in there. I'm pretty sure that most of the great big games ended up in my top 50 that I did earlier this year. You can watch that if you'd like. A link will appear somewhere, probably. I love how they are often incredibly complex, but incredibly thematic Euro games where you are placed into this system that, at first doesn't really make sense. It takes some getting used to. Everything is often in a loop. Everything relates to everything else. And you have to kind of break into it. And once you have, everything kind of flows smoothly. You can start to, see into the matrix and it all makes sense. I would say I would put On Mars right back up at the top of the complexity level. Escape Plan. Granted, I only played the prototype of that, but I would assume for the final version as well. It's going a little easier on everybody. There's still, a lot to think about in it, but he'd kind of taken the foot off the accelerator a little bit on the complexity of it. On Mars is right back up there. I would say, for me, I wouldn't put it quite on, the original Vinyos level. I'd still say that was the hardest one to get to grips with and the hardest one to try and do well in. Maybe it's on par with Lisboa, maybe a little bit higher than Lisboa. I found that so the too long didn't watch, I'll put right up front. Absolutely loved the game, and I'm kind of like it's probably down to inexperience as well, but I kind of think like, wow, this is it's not just kind of burning my brain, it's absolutely just roasting it, it's just frying the entire thing. Just having, it feels like there are even more decisions, there's even more possibilities than I'm used to in one of Vital's games. And you are just trying to, all of the explosions are just being, all the decisions are just exploding and being thrown in the air and you're just trying to grab one. Now, that obviously isn't going to be an issue if you've got, 5 games under your belt. You're gonna have a much better idea of which decisions to just throw away and are just terrible. But it is down to that beautiful thing that is in all of his games really, where and in a lot of Euro games that I love, that you can think of a strategy, you can think of a path to go down, but it isn't tied to doing a particular thing. Whereas often in say a worker placement game, there is, if you don't get that action, then you are held back around or your plan is scuppered now and you're going to have to think of something else. Whereas, not 100% of the time, but often in all of Vital's games and definitely in On Mars, there are other ways to achieve what you want. It's not always as simple as just wanting to select an action. So we'll get into the basic thing of that. So you are either in orbit or you are on the colony. And, nice thematic thing and everything, but it puts a twist on your action selection as well, that you need to be planning ahead, especially as the game goes on, as the colony levels up. The shuttle is not moving between the locations every single round. Early on in the game, you can kind of hitch a ride with that shuttle constantly and be swapping backwards and forwards and doing the actions wherever you please, albeit, you have to alternate round by round. Later on, though, it will take 2 or 3 rounds for the shuttle to switch between them. And while there are other ways of you getting across, of course, it needs a lot more planning from you to be effective. You can just muddle through. But to try and plan ahead with, well, I really need to be in orbit to upgrade my tech tiles and things. But do I? If other people are using my tech tiles, which that's another great thing for interaction between the players, that there are such a limited number of tech tiles. There's more in a game with more players. I've only played it at 2 players and solo. But yeah, there are these tech tiles that are absolutely essential for doing what you need to, for building complexes, for being able to move your rover more than a couple of spaces in a turn. You really, really desperately need these tech tiles. But in a 2-player game, there's only one of each type, but you're allowed to use everybody's tiles. And when somebody uses your tile, you get a bonus which you can use to, upgrade it yourself, or you get to keep the oxygen resource. So there's all these ways of doing things. Do I need to go back to back into orbit to get more resources? Can I take executive action to do that instead? Do I need to go back to upgrade my tech tiles? Can I notice that somebody is about to build a building that is likely to use my tech tiles and let me upgrade them in that way as well? Because I want to do something bigger with the tech tiles, or I want to earn more points from my tech tiles. And that's just a tiny portion of it as well. There is just so much going on. And yeah, like I say, every single action is kind of... It's got other ways of triggering it. Like, if you really, really need to build a mine, you can just do the build a building action. We're on the surface. But I've just seen, you've just come from orbit into the colony, and you placed a discovery tile that, when a rover lands on it, lets you build a mine. So now the whole thing's changed, because I could now take a rover action and move to that and get my mining action going, but I, in the process, move my rover closer to a research tile that can be really beneficial, or I've moved across some crystals on the way that will really help me out in doing these executive actions. Like in a lot of these games, you get to do your main action, like say the Gallerist, you get to do your main action, and you can do an executive action as well. Here they cost crystals, and you unlock more as you get your ships out. You don't have to do those shuttles at all, your own little personal ships, but the more you do, you customize your own bonus actions. You'd need to keep the crystals coming in to be able to use them. But the actions available to you are suited to your playstyle, and having those ships will let you move backwards and forwards between orbit and colony, spending them and costing you points, of course, but they give you the option to flip between the two locations later on in the game when you're desperate to, without having to wait for the shuttle. It's all just linked together in such a beautiful but complicated way. Well, not complicated in that, it's not complicated in, just learning it. It's just heavy. It's complex in trying to see the outcome of all of your actions. It is a game where your first game or two just do stuff. Just do stuff and see what happens, and it will just start to make sense. It's I know that's not everybody's favorite way of learning things, but it is just that. Just do it, don't worry about the score, and go for it. It does include... Was it Lisboa that also included these things? Maybe Escape Plan did it. I don't know if they did the prototype for that. But it comes with these first colonist cards, where your first... The A card has got a load of types of building on it. And as soon as you build a couple of those buildings, you get access to your B card that's got a more specific mission and will give you a little benefit for that. That is, just subtly pushing you in a certain direction, not giving you a huge strategy to go for, because a lot of that strategy is decided by the executive actions you unlock, the scientists that you go for, the advanced buildings that you get down. It's all, and the advanced buildings give you executive actions as well that you can use for crystals, or you can use for free if you've got the right scientist to do it. But then if you haven't got the right scientist and someone else has got that scientist, they can use their scientist on your action. But then it's free for you. I think it's got so many beautiful things like that I'm going to forget a million things about this game. That it's got, in the tech tiles, in the scientist, it's got these lovely ways of interacting with each other in just placing the stuff out on the colony, on the surface. It's got these lovely ways of interaction that aren't negative. You're not destroying things. You're not stealing things from each other. Terraforming Mars. We're trying to colonize Mars. We are trying to make life work on there. But surprisingly, we're working together. Not in a cooperative way, but we aren't trying to. Someone's built a life support system on Mars, and I'm going to play a card that destroys it. No, I'm going to piggyback off that and build an even bigger, better oxygen. Life support unit, because I want the most prestige. I want to be the one that is remembered in time for having helped the most when we were colonizing Mars. It's that kind of vibe, and from from a thematic perspective, and certainly from a gameplay perspective. Might not have seen any of my videos before, but I hate direct conflict in games. I hate negative interaction in board games. This does it in such an effective way that a lot of things are tied to what other players are doing, or what side are the other players on. Am I going to get to do this? Well, I can think about the shuttle is so far away. Am I going to get to build this building? I want to build this particular building because the life support system of the colony wants it, and I will get so many extra bonuses for building a building that the colony wants. So I can't do it right now, though. Can I afford to wait and get these bonuses from it and make it the most effective action possible? Well, you're in orbit. But you've got a shuttle, so maybe you're coming back. Yeah, it's so closely tied to what other people are doing, but without any messing about, stealing, destroying other people's stuff. The overwhelming feeling that I get is just a nice warm fuzzy feeling that it's another Vital Lacerda game that's, yeah, I really, really enjoy it. I don't know if it comes across in the playthrough. It was tough to get through. It was tough to try and keep everything going, to try and make some kind of coherent strategy that, I'll say as well that Rachel, my girlfriend, I've played everything with. Is a big fan of Kanban, but not really the other Vital games. They just above her weight preference. Just, too much to think about. And yeah, On Mars was another one that, she just, we played half a game, and yeah, she didn't want to continue, didn't want to part in it, still couldn't see a strategy forming in her head. And I think that is another kind of, hallmark of it just being really up there. It was similar in Lisboa and original Vinhos as well. So yeah, I think for both of us, it's up there. But I think it's for me, it's right on the line of just, is this too much? But no, I'm really having fun. So no, I'm continuing. I'm constantly kind of hovering on that line. But for Rach, it's definitely high up there. But yeah, you'll get a sense from the playthrough whether or not it'll be at the right level for you. I think, another absolutely beautiful presentation. You'll know that by now if you've seen the others, seen the Gallerist and Lisboa, Escape Plan, all of those deluxe presentations. They're just top notch. They're certainly, you pay a premium for that, but I do think that the amount that it comes with and the care and attention that's gone into it, and yeah, especially with, I feel like lately I've complained about rules and graphic design in games, and I think I tend to mention the Gallerist or something as a prime example. All of these deluxe Vital Lacerda editions just show you how there's so much stuff packed into these games. There is so much complexity. There is so much information to kind of offload on you right at the start. But they do it in such effective ways. There's the gaming rules videos for all of them as well that will teach you visually if you want to. But just from the rulebook, the effective graphic design that is constantly telling you about costs of things, that is telling you about flows of things, and the player aids that you get given, everything is so clear and well done. And yeah, Ian O'Toole is just fantastic at doing beautiful thematic design that also gets across key elements of the game and really helps you playing it as well. But yeah, what can I say? I get the feeling that I go into a Vital Lacerda game expecting to have my brain burned, but also have a fantastic time. It's definitely happened with On Mars as well. Yeah, the playthrough is there. I'm just going to end up repeating myself. Hopefully, this made some sense. That was On Mars. Thank you for watching, everybody. There are more playthroughs available. I think I've played through all of Vital's games on the channel at this point. I don't know, maybe I've missed one off. Let me know if I have, and I'll do it. This has been On Mars. Thank you for watching, everyone, and I'll see you for the next game. Bye, everyone.